From pirates attacking our imports in the Red Sea to Matt Walsh being attacked for stating a simple fact that yet again proves our society is damaged. Also in the news, we have a popular Netflix show called Cocomelon airing an episode on Netflix that shows a boy dressed up in a dress dancing for his two gay dads. This is a children's show, might I add. All of that and more on today's episode.
Facts over tracks, isn't that spitting slow, spitting fast, I could roast, I could gas, think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past.
Before we go into all of that, let's first begin with what's actually been unfolding over the last couple of days. That's exactly the situation ongoing around the Red Sea. Situations that leave boats capsized or taken over and then ransacked, causing a bunch of damage and thousands of dollars worth of goods wasted for no good reason. This is a really bad situation for many reasons. The main one is that most of our goods we have coming into our country, the United States, go through that said canal. It's not just America, it's 15% of the world's good. It goes through the Suez Canal. That's because it's the shortest shipping route between Europe and Asia. The group that is actually responsible for this is called the Houthis. It's a group of people from Yemen that are backed by Iran. These people use attack drones and then blow their said drones up near boats, causing damage to those said boats. The companies that are affected by this situation are MSC, ABN AMRO, BP, and Frontline. There has been a total of 2 boats that have been affected, and now they have all been relocated a different shipping route. That may be good on its face, but it's not actually a good thing. Like I said before, that was the shortest shipping route between Asia and Europe. That means that if they use a different shipping route, it's not only going to take longer, but it's also going to be more costly. The next closest shipping route that they can take adds 10 days to that overall expected time. What might be affected? Well, oil and other goods from China. So why exactly is this going on? It's because the Houthis are mad that the West is backing Israel in its fight against Hamas. So they want to damage our shipping routes as a repercussion. But little do they know, they don't stand a chance against the United States. What is sad is that the response from America and the West more broadly is that they either ignore the Houthis or they don't do enough to retaliate. What America did was block the drone from attacking any further boats by missiling their drones. But there's just one problem. Each missile America uses is $2 million. Each drone that the Houthis use are a couple grand max. So as you can tell, it isn't so cost effective. So instead they decided to blow up the Houthis' weapon base. But the Houthis don't care, and it just made them hate America even more. So they released this dance practice video to stick it to the West. Ooh, I sure am scared now. Nice dancey dance, guys, but your weapons are no match for America's, so tread lightly, I advise it.
Threats to our nations, they don't sleep. They're watching our every move. Iran, Russia, China, North Korea, ISIS, Al-Qaeda. They may be watching this right now. Our military should not be mistaken for a cable news gabfest show.
With that being said, let's dig into the headlines of the week. So starting off, we actually have the Matt Walsh situation that I was talking about in the beginning of this video. He posted on X. So it was actually, he was trending on X for a weird reason here. It is actually because of the fact that he said that women that say F the patriarchy are the same exact women who want a man to buy them things, or the same exact women that don't want to cook and don't want to clean. It's a crazy world that we live in when it happens, but it happens more times than I can count. Like this TikToker who says that she went on a date with a guy and her whole world was changed because he was masculine.
Guys, I went on a date this week and I felt the feminism leaving my body. I live on the east side of LA, and if you don't know what that means, it's sort of like the artsier part of LA, you know? It's people say it's like Brooklyn and New York. Like, so I go on dates with a lot of men and women who, you know, live over here. There's always a negotiation about who pays, and that's great. I like to pay for people, all that. But what I will say is that I sort of fell into going on a date with the most guy's guy I've ever been on a date with. And he's from West, you know, Santa Monica. He's a bro, right? A guy's guy is usually not my type. Like, I cannot remember the last time that I went on a date with like a straight bro, you know what I'm saying? But it befell me. It befell me in an organic fashion. So I'm on this date with this guy, and the thing about a guy's guy is he's putting his card down. He's paying for everything. And I really it sort of activated something feral in me, I'm not gonna lie. We went to like another bar and he was gonna go to the bathroom, so I was getting prepared to pay for our drinks because he's been paying all night. Of course I'm gonna pay for the next round, but as he's going to leave for the bathroom, he turns to me and he hands me his credit card and he goes, "Here's my card, get us whatever." It might be time for me to get away from all these, liberal snowflakes on the east side.
He responded to that and he said, she's impressed that a guy paid, which is fine. Women are naturally attracted to providers, but if she likes this aspect of traditional masculinity, she has to accept the rest of it and be willing to play her part and be traditionally feminine. That's where things usually break down for the feminists, which is the truth and everyone knows it, even the girl in the video. What we can take away from this is that people like to have their cake and eat it too. You can't have two opposite opinions that contradict each other. It's like being pro-Palestine and pro-Israel. That does not make any sense. Just as you were saying you're anti-patriarchal and then pro-patriarchy. It doesn't make any sense. The fact is the fact, and everyone knows it. Girls are hotter when they act like this, but no one wants to admit that mere fact. Take it simply. If the majority of girls acted like this, then there would probably be fewer gay people and more straight people. As a person that has seen a lot of women in my life along this same exact way, I can say with certainty that men would not be scared of asking a woman out. They wouldn't be scared of paying for a woman, and they wouldn't be scared of being the head of the household if women were more like this, traditional. Society would be flourishing and would be way better off for many reasons. The first reason is that, like I said, this would not be so contradicting to everyone's thought process. And number two, everybody would feel more flourished. It would be a flourishing society. People wouldn't cheat on each other because they respected one another. They wouldn't go and scream at each other because they respected one another. Some people call a flourishing society the perfect world, but it's not the perfect world. It's the reality that we all lived merely one generation ago, or merely 2 generations ago. But sadly, our society does not act anything like it used to be. But with that being said, we do have a couple articles. The first one is the actual show that I was talking about on Netflix called Cocomelon. So Cocomelon's actually trying to indoctrinate your kids. If you do not know this, then we're going to be talking about it here. So Netflix actually released a new episode of its Cocomelon series, and it actually shows a small boy dressed up in a tutu dancing for his 2 gay dads. Cocomelon Lane is a spin-off of the widely popular animated Cocomelon series, was released on Netflix on November 17th. The show, which is geared towards toddlers, exploded on Netflix, quickly becoming the #1 kids show on the streaming platform. The controversial clip from the episode 8 of the show went viral this week and quickly prompted backlash from conservatives. The episode shows Nico, a small boy, taking family portraits at a photo show with his 2 dads.
Thing that we know about you, you love to get up and dance. How about you break out those moves for your 2 biggest fans? Just be you.
Just be me?
Yep. When you're trying to decide, think about all the things you like to do. Just be you.
Just be me?
What does just be you actually mean when it comes to a toddler? Just be you. Well, obviously they're going to be you. You can't be anybody else, first of all. I can't be anybody else. I can't be Tom Holland. I can't be Spider-Man. I can't be Ted Cruz. I can't be anybody else besides me. So what does that actually mean? It actually means just be you. If you want to go and put makeup on, you can. If you want to go and put a dress on, you can. If you want to cut your pee-pee off and become a girl, you can. Anything that you want to be, you can go and do that. That's what Netflix is trying to tell your toddler. So again, if you are on Netflix, watching shows on Netflix, you are supporting this very ideology. I don't pay for Netflix. I don't even pay for Hulu. I watch YouTube, okay? I watch YouTube and the Daily Wire. These are the 2 people that I know I can go to, YouTubers that actually have my opinion or are nonpartisan in any argument. Or on Daily Wire, I know that these people actually agree with my opinion and they agree with my ideology. I support the people that support my ideology. So with that being said, we're not going to go on Netflix. We're not going to show our kids shows that we have not filtered first. And if you don't know who to trust, go on Bentley. Bentley Official from the Daily Wire are actually made by conservatives that hold your values. You don't go to people that actually don't hold your values. You go to the people that do hold your values and are not going to indoctrinate your kids into this perverse ideology. Boy wearing a tutu dancing for his 2 gay dads when his 2 gay dads tell him to just be you. What does that even mean? Continuing with the article, maybe I'll be a bat or maybe a superhero. He looks at the costumes. Can you pick one for me? I want to look great. We think that you're going to look great the way you'll look great is to just be yourself. One of the dads responded. Who am I? I can't decide. Nico sings as he dresses up in a firefighter outfit and then a chef's outfit. Something that we know about you is that you love to get up and dance, the dads sing in a unison. How about you break out those moves for your two biggest fans? Nico is shown doing ballet moves in a tiara and a tutu. Nico holds the tiara and the beanie, trying to decide on one. He ends up wearing all the hats in the photo, including the tiara. Quote, I picked up a lot of hats because I like to make people laugh, Nico says. The dads first appear in an earlier episode where Nico says one for Papa and one for Daddy. As he sets the dinner table with plates, several of the Daily Wire's podcast hosts responded to the viral clip. I agree with Matt Walsh. Netflix needs a full Bud Light treatment for this. I completely agree. Yeah, and I completely agree. Everybody is against the side of reality. Everybody is against the side of actually, being, just be normal. People cannot just be normal. They want to push a ideology that's dangerous on children just for the mere enjoyment to see us, the conservatives, get frustrated about the situation. Now, you can tell that the mainstream media does not like our ideologies because even look at the New York Times. The New York Times posted an article that they are not letting me read now unless I'm pay $1, but I'm not going to do that. The New York Times actually published an article and it's talking about the fantasy of a fun TV dad. In the children's series Bluey and its conservative knockoff Chimchilla, boundless and tentative fathers step in to assuage parental anxieties. So, they're saying in this article, because I already read the article on my computer, now when I switch it to my iPad, it's just not letting me read the article for some reason. But what it actually shows in the article is that when the person writing the article, I should say, actually watches Chimchilla or watches any conservative media, she actually starts feeling bad that she's not spending so much time with her kids and instead putting her kids in front of a TV and then letting the TV decide and dictate what their children or her children is actually going to grow up to be. So just because of the fact that she feels bad about herself, she's now blaming it on Bluey and Chimchilla. That's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to say, okay, if you don't like the way that you're raising your children, how about you raise your children a little bit faster, or not faster, but better. And we do have another article here. We actually have a New York Democrat bill actually could force Chick-fil-A to open on Sundays. So the chain is seemingly being targeted for its terrible record on LGBTQ or SUVWXYZ rights. So that does not make any sense because of the fact that the CEO of Chick-fil-A is very, very woke. So it doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. So this just proves to you, if you are a business owner, do not cave to these woke corporations. Do not cave to any of the media because of the fact that now you're going to be targeted. You're on their side and then they're still attacking you. At least if you're on the Republican side, the Republicans are not going to attack you. If you're on our side, we're not going to attack you. No, I just don't understand why big millionaires always go to the Democratic side when the Democrats want to tax them more. Conservatives don't want to tax them more. They want to actually have them keep their paycheck and have their business stay in America by giving them a bunch of incentives. And then the Democrats are like, oh, no, we hate you. And then they're like, oh, we choose them. Why would you choose the Democrats? They want to destroy you every single time. It doesn't make any sense here. A Democrat in New York has introduced a bill, if passed, would force Christian-owned restaurant chain Chick-fil-A to open on Sundays or remove numerous restaurants from its major highway system in the state. Tony Simon, who is openly complaining that Chick-fil-A has a, quote, terrible record on LGBTQ or SUVWXYZ rights, penned Bill A08336 to mandate that the New York State Turnaway Authority only continue or enter into contracts with businesses that will stay open all 7 days of the week. Chick-fil-A has a terrible record on LGBT rights. Simon complains to the New York Post last week. I'm not going to say that clearly. Huh? That doesn't make any sense. To serve New Yorkers and travelers, things should be open 7 days a week, including Chick-fil-A. And if they shouldn't be in our rest stops, and if they can't, they shouldn't be in our rest stops. There should be options for people to eat and drink in not just one spot. Okay, so you're complaining because of the fact that 1 day a week, 1 day out of 6, Chick-fil-A is closed. Wow, you really want Chick-fil-A that bad? Go to KFC. Go to Popeyes. There's so many other chicken chicken restaurants and you just want Chick-fil-A, you're a little bit lazy. Just go to another chicken restaurant. Notably, there's already a standard that at least one hot food option is open and available at the rest of these stops every day of the week to better accommodate travelers and truckers. If Chick-fil-A is closed on Sundays, at its given rest shop, for example, there is another restaurant open. Quote, our requirement is that there is at least one hot food option available. Thruway spokesperson Jennifer Grever explained, according to Business Insider, quote, if Chick-fil-A is closed on Sundays, we have other alternatives to our customers. There are currently 7 Chick-fil-A restaurants on the interstate that would be affected by the bill, and at least 3 more of the restaurants slated to be built. The chicken chain is known for closing its doors on Sundays for religious reasons. Quote, closing our businesses on Sundays, Sunday the Lord's Day, is our way of honoring God and showing our loyalty to Him. Chick-fil-A founder wrote in his book, Eat More Chicken, inspired more people. Quote, my children have committed to closing our restaurants on Sundays long after I'm gone. He wrote, I believe God honors our decision and sets before us unexpected opportunities to do greater work for Him because of our loyalty. I got the chills from that. That's awesome. As highlighted by Catholic News Agency, this latest targeting of Chick-fil-A comes 3 years after 3 New York State legislators sent a letter to the executive director of the State of Thruway Authority to urge him to re-examine the approval of Chick-fil-A to open locations along the highway system, setting a public stance against same-sex marriage from the restaurant's ownership. Okay, so let's just say that this restaurant was fully Democrat, embracing transgenderism, all stuff like that, just like Starbucks is doing. Let's just say that they were doing that. Then they would leave them alone. The case would be completely fine if they were closed on Sunday, but they were sitting here embracing transgenderism, embracing LGBTQ or STVWXYZ rights. Not rights, but, you know, the quote-unquote, people in their opinion, of course. If they were fully embracing their opinions on the matter, then they would be fully open with them closing on Sunday. But since they're not on the Democratic side and they're instead on the Republican side, the Democrats don't like Chick-fil-A. They don't like Chick-fil-A. They don't want to just have a good chicken sandwich. So instead, they're just going to force the restaurant to open on days that they're closed, which would result in the chicken sandwich either being more expensive or no chicken sandwich to begin with. It just does not mean, it doesn't make any sense. The left wants its cake and eats it too, like we talked about at the beginning of this episode. Now, with that being said, we are digging into the media's takes. So we do have a CNN article here. We have Texas new immigration law shows confusion and uncertainty along the border. So what is Texas's new immigration law? Well, it means that you will be arrested if you enter the state illegally. Oh my God. Imagine if it was against the law to break the law. That would be the most simple law in the world. If you break the law, you break the law, you break the law. Wait a second. So if you break the law, it's breaking the law? Yes, CNN. Thank you so much for realizing that. If you break the law, it's unlawful. It is illegal to break the law because it's the law. Duh. Can't. A new law that makes entering Texas illegally a state crime is, it's just, their sentence is just so stupid. A new law that makes entering Texas illegally a state crime. Isn't that what a law does? Isn't that what illegal is? Illegal. Crime. Breaking law. Illegal. Not legal. Means that it is against the law. Oh my God. I can't. Take it from the top. A new law that makes entering Texas illegally a state crime is showing confusing and uncertainty among undocumented migrants and mixed status families along the United States-Mexico border, according to immigration advocates. So if you are uncertain, how about you come through legally? You know, come through, get your green card, you know, come through the border legally, apply for your green card, temporary status. Anyone? This is how you come through any other country in the world. Why does America have this unparalleled problem compared to any other country in the world? If you go into China undocumented and illegal, they will shoot you. They do not play around. Why is it that in America, you can go into any state in America and now you're just expected to be given a house. You're expected to be given universal basic income and you're treated better than the actual citizens that live here and that are supporting those very practices and the programs that you're taking advantage of. Many of these advocates tell CNN that they fear a wave of racial profiling as well as detentions and attempted deportations by state authorities when the law is expected to take effect in March. There's a lot of unknowns about this law will be implemented. Houston immigration attorney Roberto Cudjono said in a recent town hall meeting about the law. Republican Governor Greg Abbott signed the measure, Senate Bill 4, into law on Monday, granting local law enforcement the power to arrest migrants and judges the ability to issue orders to remove them to Mexico. In a state where Latinos represent 40% of the population, what is that supposed to mean? Just because we have a lot of Latinos means that just let in the whole entire Mexico border, just let in every single Mexican. Hey, if you're in Mexico, come right over. We have 40% Latinos in Texas. What is that supposed to mean? In some parts of Boston, we have Chinatown. What, just because we have a high population of Asians in Chinatown, we need to let all the continent of Asia into America immediately? That does not make any sense. Just because we have some population in some selected area of a selected state in America does not mean that we have to let in that majority of the population in that selected area into America illegally and then provide them with the basic necessities that you need to survive, like a house, basic income, stuff like that. That does not make any sense. We're gonna go bankrupt here. We don't have enough money for this. Look at our debt. Look at our debt that we have in America. Trillions and trillions of dollars. And you think that we have more money to support them? You're crazy. Quote, we have a lot of concerns about racial profiling and racism. A community organizer with a nonprofit said this week at a protest against SB 4. These laws open the door for that. They threaten families. How do they threaten families? Because they arrest them? They arrest them if they're illegal? Whoa. Caesar said that she believes Latinos in Texas will be forced to carry their passports and IDs at all times in order to wait a second. Forced to carry their passports and IDs at all times. Yeah, it is already a law to actually have your ID at all times. I must carry my wallet with my ID on my person at all times. If I do not carry my wallet with my ID in it, because I have my ID in my wallet, if I do not carry my ID in my wallet at all times when I'm driving, when I'm out and about, then how do I prove my identity? How do I prove my identity then? If somebody says, "Ooh, I need your ID," or whatever, I give them my ID to prove my identity. You must carry your ID on your person at all times anyway. It's in the actual slip when you first apply for your license or your permit. You're supposed to always have your permit on your person. You're supposed to always have your ID on your person, just because if you're ever profiled. So you should have it on you anyway. So what's the big deal? If you already have it on you, oh, can I ask for your ID? We're enforcing stuff. Okay, here's my ID. I'm legal. I was born here. Okay, then there we go. I'm not in trouble. The cop's not in trouble. And I'm off with my day in about 30 seconds or less. If you sit here and you film them on TikTok and then now you're causing a big deal and now you're calling in the superintendent or not the superintendent, the sergeant or the captain of the police, and now you're yelling at him. Now you wasted 2 hours of your time and their time for no reason. If somebody asks you for your ID, just give it to them and say, "Here's my ID." Okay, and then get my ID back and then go on with my day. What's the big deal here? For many opportunities, opponents, the new law hardens to a similar 2010 Show Me Your Papers law in Arizona, which was largely struck down by the United States Supreme Court 2 years later. The High Court concluded that in 2012, the federal government had the power to block the law, but let stand a controversial provision allowing police to check a person's immigration status while enforcing other laws if reasonable suspicion existed that the person is in the United States illegally. Critics have said that the new Texas law is unconstitutional, and civil rights groups have filed a lawsuit against the state on Tuesday. The American Civil Liberties Union, the ACLU of Texas, and the Texas Civil Rights Project argued that the controversial border law is unconstitutional because it prompts federal law. Immigration is a quintessentially federal authority, the organizations argue, according to the lawsuit. Okay, so here's their plan. Here's a game plan. Their game plan is this, right? They say, okay, immigration is a federal problem. Okay, then we look to Joe Biden, which is stumbling up the stairs, I should say. Mumbling, stumbling while he's talking, mumbling and stumbling when he's walking, mumbling, stumbling when he's just going on with his day, having his chocolate chip ice cream. Then you ask him, listen, Joey B, will you enforce the border? I don't know what you're talking about. Jack licks his ice cream. Joey B, are you going to enforce the border? The border is very, very, overwhelmed right now. There's lots of people at it. Our border patrol agents are very overwhelmed. They don't have enough manpower to actually handle this crisis. I don't know what you're talking about. Jack licks his ice cream again. Listen, he's not going to respond. The federal government is not going to step in. It's been 3 years. How long are we going to wait for the federal government to take action against these people that are coming into our borders illegally? How long are we going to wait for the government to respond before states take action on their own? States should have the right to take action on their own, because now it's not bothering me that lives far, far away from Texas. It's not bothering people that live in Arizona for paying for things that are happening in Texas. It's not bothering people in California for paying for things that are happening in Texas. If you go and have the federal government pay for it, then it's us that are in other states that are going to pay for it. But if it's statewide, then the state government is going to pay for it. How is that a bad thing? If you don't want to deal with this immigration problem, just like Eric Adams said a couple of days ago, we don't want to deal with this immigration problem in New York, stop sending immigrants over here, blah, 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 blah. Then how about you fix the problem? And if you can't fix the problem, then shut up. Shut up. If you do not want to pay for it, if Joey B in the White House does not want to pay for it, then let Texas pay for it. Texas's problem this problem is in Texas's backyard. If Texas wants to fix it, then Texas has the right to fix it. It's their tax money. With that being said, we're going to sum up this episode here. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for enjoying. And if I do not talk to you again, I hope that everybody has a happy Christmas and enjoys it with their family. Merry Christmas, y'all, and I hope to see you on Monday. Thank you all for watching. I hope they have a great rest of your day. Bye. Or I hope to see you on Tuesday.